The good, the bad, and the odd. They're sorted.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd with your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
So this is a day-to-day. Before we go on with that, though, I've had some issues with the website. www, The Good, the Bad, and the Odd. I can't get it set up in the way I want it. I'm in the middle of a transfer. So for now, hopefully that'll become reactivated and just point to this. But for now, we're on Libsyn. Now, if you're hearing this, you probably don't have this problem. Unless you're looking on YouTube. You can still see this on YouTube, and you don't need to know any of this stuff. But our website is currently, the URL for our website is the good, the bad, and the odd.libsyn.com/site. SITE. That's how to get to us at the minute. Hopefully, by the time we record the next one, we'll be back to www. The Good, the Bad, and the Odd will be working, though it will be pointing to the Libsyn site. Just wanted to. I've put a thing on Facebook about that, but it's really difficult when something like that goes wrong because it's like how do you communicate with people when your main communication mechanism is gone? Right?
Drops, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky. So I wanted to say that. Right, so this is a Daisy episode. Our last Daisy Days was your choice, and it was Labyrinth, based on the career of Warwick Davis, right? I have picked something from the career of Jennifer Connelly, and that is The Rocketeer, which came out in 1991. Amblin, I think, it's a Disney production.
No, Disney.
Oh, it's just Disney. Is it? Yeah, it feels Amblin-y, but it's Disney. It came out in 1991. I haven't seen it in an awful long time, but I always thought it was a pretty fun kind of adventure movie. So, first watch for you?
Yeah, first time I've seen it.
Yeah, so what do you think?
It was a pretty good action film, but it's not. I don't know. Nothing really stood out aside from how Art Deco it was.
Yeah. I think that there were two things stood out for me, really. I mean, the sense of fun kind of stood out. The Art Deco, you're quite right. They're really stylish. And Dalton, I thought Timothy Dalton was really good as the bad. He was big bad wolfy. He just made me think of the big bad wolf.
You described him as the big bad wolf in a lot of.
I do. So maybe that's just the vibe he gives me. But yeah, he's a kind of. He plays. This is set in 40s Hollywood, California, and he. 30s actually, 38. Thinking of it.
Yeah.
And he's basically an Errol Flynn kind of character, right? Actor. That's the sort of roles he does. He also plays it in real life, the suave guy, and all this. So a bit Errol Flynn, a bit David Niven maybe, or something like that. But yes. I kind of agree. It's a decent action film, but it's in this world of everything's got to be the best or the worst. This is neither of those. It's fun. It's fun good, and it's okay.
But it's middling. Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, I'm glad you enjoyed it because I never know with these things because sometimes it might come across as cheesy, or something like that. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. All right, let's get into it a bit. So, the main actors in this are Billy Campbell as Clifford Seacole. Disney wanted to cast so many different people in this role before they settled on this guy. Costner was in the frame. Paxton nearly got it. Apparently, Bill Paxton nearly got the role. Disney's first choice was Johnny Depp. I could see that.
No, I don't think I could see that one, though I can see how they'd keep him in mind for Pirates later on.
Yeah. So. Dennis Quaid, Kurt Russell, Emilio Estevez, which that's not right.
Okay, we're kind of trailing off with the casting here. It's like,
well, this is the list. Apparently Vincent D'Onofrio.
Okay.
Kingpin when he was young.
Yeah.
Was offered and declined the role. How about that? So Billy Campbell.
I don't think he would have looked the part. This was a few years after Full Metal Jacket, so I don't think Private Pile would have looked good in the Rocketeer outfit.
Yeah, no, but he did look slightly different. He always looked a bit like a psycho, though, to be honest.
Yeah, he always looks different every single time he's in something.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
quite
thinking of him.
tragic.
I remember him in a film called Adventures in Babysitting, where he was like a mechanic who a little girl thought was actually Thor. She was obsessed with Thor from the comics, and she thought this
Okay.
guy was Thor. Anyway, and the same issue they had with Jenny, the casting of Jenny, right before Jennifer Connelly was finally cast. They had in mind, for example, Sheridan Fenn,
Mm.
Diane
Yeah.
Lane, Elizabeth McGovern. Yeah, I could kind of see that. Though I think Jennifer Connelly is very good in this.
Mm.
Actually, she for the part, she's pretty perfect.
Yeah.
Now, Joe Johnson was the director. I like Joe Johnson films. I do.
Mm.
Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot, and I'm stuck now.
Yeah.
Now I've said his name, but there
Captain
are
America, Honey, I
yes,
Shrunk the
of
Kids,
course, Captain America, of course, yeah. So yes,
Jumanji, the original one. Yeah.
yes, the original Jumanji. So yeah, he's always does a fun film. Jurassic
Mm.
Park 3 is a fun film, right? It's a real
Yeah.
fun one. For example, and Jumanji, right?
Mm. Yeah.
So yeah. The other main actor of note in well, there's a few other. Timothy Dalton we've already mentioned.
Yeah.
Alan Arkin
Yeah.
as the
Yeah.
professor, effectively.
I was gonna say it's Peavy and Valentine are our two other sort of leads, as it were.
Yeah. And we also got Paul Sorvino as like a gangster who's
Yeah,
kind of
that's
working.
Valentine.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like him in this too. I mean, he often plays, in more hardcore crime films, gangster types, but
Mm.
he's good in this. The vibe also made me think of like Dick Tracy and things like that.
Yeah, well, it's that sort of 30s pulp
Yes, it is.
sort of
I mean,
things.
it's not a million miles from like the likes of Flash Gordon. Apparently, in the
Well,
original,
it's a contemporary. That's the original comic book it was contemporaries of like Flash Gordon.
yeah, get
Uh,
this.
yeah.
I don't know if you read this up, but you know Howard Hughes as a character is in this, and Howard
Mm.
Hughes is a real person. Terry O'Quinn, famous from Lost, is Howard Hughes. In the original comic graphic novel, this was based on a graphic novel that I believe was written quite close to, only a few years before, but I could be. It wasn't Howard Hughes, it was Doc Savage. How about
Yeah.
that?
I did a little bit of looking up on the old comic, and boy, there was
Oh, it was
okay.
an old
So
comic, was it?
yeah,
Oh, my mistake.
so
Right.
the setup for a third, like a story, one of the story arcs was going to have the Rocketeer meeting someone faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, and able to
Okay.
leap tall buildings in a single bound.
Wow. They
So
really
yeah,
do want to mix their pulp. That's Pulp
yeah,
Fiction for you, right? That is
yeah.
essence of Pulp Fiction.
Clark Kent did end up appearing, but not Superman. So
Um, Billy Campbell, I don't think he's been in anything else I can think of.
so he was in
Oh, he's been
Bram
in
Stoker's
TV.
Dracula.
Was he?
Yeah, he's Quincy
Wow.
Morris in that.
Oh, he was Quincy. I don't recognize him
Yeah.
from that.
But
Um,
that's his only other major role. He was in the make of I Know What You Did Last Summer,
okay.
uh, last year, 2025.
Yeah.
But that's the only name I really recognize from his filmography. Like there's like a Jungle Book movie in there, but I don't know, never heard of it before. So
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I've just looked this up because the nightclub singer. We'll talk about the plot in a bit, but the nightclub
mm.
singer. I kept thinking she really looks like Jan from The Office. That
hmm
woman, and she also looks a bit like Lena Headey,
hmm
maybe. Yeah, it is the actress who is Jan from The Office. I did not know that until I've just looked it up. She's credited as the South Sea singer, right? Because I've also seen a credit for Clint Howard in it, and I don't remember him in it.
Honestly, Clint Howard just kind of disappears into
Just
films.
he just
Like
pops up.
he's always just there. It's like hearing the Wilhelm scream. It's like, oh, Clint Howard.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's also a very strong character actor, a guy I really like. He appears in a lot of TV and movies. He
Mm.
was in quite a famous episode of The X-Files, for example, which is an actor called Ed Lauter. He's the head of the FBI guy.
Mm.
He's the FBI guy.
Yeah.
I like Ed Lauter quite a lot. So that was kind of nice to see too. Anyway, right, let's get into the plot. So, um, I have to tell you, this first play with basically these guys are goofing around in a garage, an engineer's workshop, but with
Yeah.
planes, right? They got planes,
Yeah.
and
It's all
head by
really
Alan
set up to like launch a plane, really.
yes,
Uh,
and they want to be racing. That's the thing, but
yeah.
um, the main character played by Billy Campbell is Cliff Secord, right?
Mm.
Who is the pilot, and I have to say, this plane he comes out and looks so cool. It basically looks
Mm.
like a massive engine with two wings strapped to it. The engine is so part of the structure of the. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just an engine with a little cockpit and two wings. And that's it. That's what we're
Yeah.
talking
And
about.
it's a big engine. Like
Yeah, it's
it's a
really strong.
weirdly small plane for apparent. We'll discover it later, but it's like supposed to be one of the fastest racing planes or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. They did sneak in a lot of real life stuff in this, like that plane. There were certain planes in this that definitely existed in this era, or maybe a little before or after. There's also a few actors playing real life actors, like, for example, W.C. Fields pops up at one
Yeah,
point.
that was weird
That
when
was
W.C.
weird.
Fields just started leering at Jenny.
Yeah, and Howard Hughes is a main character too, as well. Basically, these guys are setting up to try out this plane and see. Cliff takes the plane up. Meanwhile, these kind of 30s gangsters have
Yeah.
stolen something. You don't know what they've stolen, but being chased by the FBI.
Mm.
Um, and
Well,
there's a kind of
it
running
doesn't seem
shootout.
to be the FBI at first. It just
Oh
kind of
yeah,
looks like the
yeah, it's the
police.
police. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
But
Um,
then later on, it just turned out that
yeah.
it's the FBI. So
Yeah, but they're being chased and through these in the middle of the country really, and these guys. It's a shootout, running shootout basically. But they end up near, well, at this air thing, and the
yeah,
bullet hits one of the bullets hits Cliff's plane, doesn't it?
yeah, as it's in
Uh,
flight.
as it's in flight, and this is like a first test, right, of this
Yeah,
plane.
they
Uh,
say after this, they basically poured all their money into getting it, and it was the first time getting it in
Yeah,
the
they
air.
just happen to have like this robbery going under him and
Mm.
cock it all up, right? Because it hits Cliff's plane, and does it hit the fuselage? So he's like loses
So
control of it.
I think it hits the fuel.
Fuel.
So
Yeah,
it's leaking. So the plane's now running out of power. So
yeah,
it's now flying low,
yeah.
and the car's going the other way. And one of the guys jumps out and with
Just,
the thing that
I think
they've
he thinks
stolen.
it's a cop or something, right? I assume. I don't really know, but he
Well,
takes
so yeah, one guy jumps out of the mobster's truck and runs off and hides the thing that they've stolen. But the other guy takes the landing wheels off of Cliff's plane and then proceeds to crash into a fuel truck,
yes, yeah,
like annihilating him, and the
yeah.
plane crashes
He's
to
on
scrap,
fire, and they
basically.
managed to get him out. He's got a girlfriend, Jenny, played by Jennifer Connelly, who he says, "Oh, I had a bit of a bumpy line." He doesn't tell her the full truth, but
No,
when that comes out later, she is really fuming. Why am I the last to know? He goes, "Well, everyone else was at the airfield; they saw it. That's why you're the
mm,
last." It's like that,
yeah.
having a dig at her for not being around, right? Because she's aspiring actress, and there's these little snipes. The fact she couldn't make something important because she was like in the back of one scene in
Yeah,
one,
she was playing an
and
extra
she's like,
in a
"I'm
show.
trying to start a career," which is fair
Yeah.
enough. I totally get that. I
Yeah, you
understand.
got to take the little ones before you get the big
Yeah.
ones.
Um, but it turns out they've this gang of gangsters, these almost comedy gangsters they are really. Well, they're
Yeah.
violent but the way they play it is very broad, right?
Mm.
Have stolen basically a rocket pack from Howard Hughes' sort of development site, right?
Mm.
But one guy manages to hide before the police take him. He
Yeah.
manages to swap it for something that looks similar,
Yeah.
but it's
It's
caught in the
I think it's
fire.
a Hoover in
Yeah, it turns out a
when they
bit of
eventually open
vacuum.
it.
Yes,
But yeah, so they hide the jetpack
in the plane, wasn't it?
in
In a
Cliff's
seat.
other plane.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
later on, when Cliff is Cliff and Peavy are mulling over what to do, they
yeah,
find it,
yeah.
and then after that, that's when he goes and sees Jenny for a date.
Yes, which goes to she's at college, I think. He goes to a sorority house,
I think so. It's
and
not
the
quite
house
clear.
mother sort of says, if he gets fresh, deck him and all this kind of stuff. And
Yeah,
and there's other girls in the dorm, and when he phones, of course it's for Jenny, and there's all this kind of stuff.
yeah.
So there's that. We also see another fella, a big fella, who turns out to be like the direct henchman of the bad guy. Right, Neville's spoiler. We're too late for this, right? The bad guy, ultimate bad guy, is Neville Sinclair, Timothy Dalton's character. But not only has he got his gangsters working for him, he's got directly another one that they don't really know about, a henchman called Lothar, who I don't know if did you recognise that face in any way?
No, I thought it was a prosthetic face. I'm
It
going
is
to
a
be frank.
prosthetic face, but it is based on an actor who made various films in the 30s and 40s. This is a bit unfortunate, but in many respects, this actor was happy with his lot because he could provide for his family. Essentially, the actor was called Rondo Hatton, and he played in several films a character called the Creeper. And he actually did look like this man. But it was caused. Apparently, when he was young, he was quite a handsome man. But he went to World War One. He went into
He got
trenches, and he got gassed, and it brought that on, which caused this to happen to him. Though he was happily married, and he was happy with the career he had, which was exploiting how he looked, basically. It's a bit like Michael Berryman, right? It's that kind of thing. But they have recreated in this film. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but yeah, okay. So they've got this henchman Lothar, who's massive. Absolutely, he's about 6'6", something like that.
Yeah, well, they got a basketball player to play him.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
He's 7 foot tall.
Oh, wow. Yeah, even taller than I thought. And presented in the film is incredibly strong as well.
Yeah. You know the joke in Police Squad and Naked Gun where there's the tall guy?
Well, you never see the top of his head.
Yeah, that's him. It's the same actor.
Him? Wow, that's great. So Cliff and Jenny, it's a bit tumultuous because he's hiding things from her, and he doesn't think that much of her career.
Yeah,
and he's not hiding it much. So
basically, they're bickering. It's kind of tedious, but
and the older bloke's going, for goodness sakes, you don't let a girl like that go, that kind of thing. So there's all that going on. So there's a lot of contrivances in this film to keep it fast paced, which is fine.
Yes.
It's an adventure film.
For example,
people overhearing other people, or people happen to have a picture in their hand and seeing exactly the same logo on a notepad against the telephone, things like that, right?
Yeah,
so putting two and two together. A lot of logical leaps. It's not quite 60s Batman level of logical leaps, but it's getting close to that sort of thing.
So there's a bit of a testing period on the rocket pack where the Peavy and Cliff are like strapping it to mannequins and then from a distance switching it on.
Oh yeah, they steal a statue, and when they first stole that, I thought, is it because they need the metal for something? No, they're just strapping it to a statue. And this thing's mad. When they let it off, it goes like a bat out of hell.
Yeah. Lots of rockets, so yeah. But then we get a brief sort of setup to the outfit because because the owner of the airfield is basically charging them for the fuel they burnt, the crash that occurred, and basically still their rent for using the airfield. And he's basically like, you'll need to go back in the old the Flying Clown show.
Yeah,
just to make the money, and both of them are just like, oh god, no.
They don't want to, but they have to, right? What else happens? So they're working on the rocket. Also, then Peavy designs a helmet, the cool helmet, the Rocketeer helmet.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about the poster, the original poster. A very Art Deco, really cool looking poster.
Yeah.
But Disney executives did not like it. They altered it.
Yeah, they wanted like a bubble helmet.
Well, no, it wasn't the actual outfit I'm talking about. It's the poster. They
Okay.
wanted Dalton and the other two to be their faces on it, right? Especially Dalton because people knew his face, right?
Yeah, well, he was James Bond at the time,
Yeah.
so
So, and this film did not do that well when it came out. People weren't going to see it, and I think they were trying to change it mid, week one kind of
yeah. Well, there
style.
was bigger issues there because it released at the same time a little film called Terminator 2.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
like, hey,
problematic.
you
Yeah.
just want to just kill the film right
What
there?
action film shall I go see? Yeah. So yeah, that is probably what killed its box office, isn't it? Frankly,
Mm.
that's tough. That's tough. So yeah, that's a cool post. Really, the original poster is very cool. Go look on the
Yeah.
Wikipedia page. You can see the original poster right at the top. It looks
Mm.
terrific. Proper Art Deco 40s
Yeah.
stuff, 30s, 40s stuff. I'm trying to think of the course of events, so I might
So
have this a bit
yeah,
garbled.
what happens next is we get introduced to Timothy Dalton. He calls Lothar, that guy who looks like Rondo Hatton,
Yeah,
and they basically the gangsters who are looting it basically say, "Look, one guy survived. He's now in hospital, but the police are all over him, so we can't actually ask him what
yeah,
happened. Uh, we're going to go back to that airfield and look for this." After
yeah,
they basically tried to rinse Sinclair for more money.
yeah.
It's
And
kind of funny.
I want double, and now I want
Yeah.
triple.
He's like, get it and I'll pay you double. He's like, you'll pay me triple. It's what you'll do. And then it cuts to the next day after the date.
Yeah,
Uh, Lothar gets to that gangster that's in the hospital and kills him off screen in what I presume is a spectacularly brutal way. 'Cause he's
well, we'd see him
screaming and crunching.
hanging from the
Yeah.
ceiling, but it suggests he basically twisted his spine, or I don't know,
Yeah,
something
it's a
revolting,
lot of off-screen screaming and crunching,
crunching.
and
Yes,
then like they break into the room, Lothar's gone, and this guy's hung from the ceiling somehow. You don't really see it.
yeah, and actually that comes into play a bit later on because Valentine's really pissed off that
Mm,
Sinclair has killed one of his men when he kind of figures it
yeah,
out.
yeah. So then the next day, there's an air show on, and Cliff is late to it. But so another air
One of the
clown
other
takes his place.
mechanics who hasn't been behind on the stick in 25 years is what they say.
Yeah, because
Uh,
they have this weird like old pilot's bar that only like three people hang out at.
yes.
Uh, and two of them are Dan and Cliff and PB.
Yeah.
So they,
Uh, yeah, it's so essentially he goes up and it all goes wrong. Now
yeah,
Cliff realizes he can maybe save him, but he has to do it as the Rocketeer, right?
yeah, he
Or
kind of
that
immediately
hasn't got
jumps
a
into.
name at the minute. He's
Yeah, the
the rocket guy.
yeah,
But
he's just the
so
guy with a backpack.
this Matt and the promoter's like, it's all part of the show, folks. This is all going wrong, and a
Yeah,
rocket guy turns up, and all this, that, and the
but
other.
the gangster's also there because they're looking at the airfield, as I mentioned,
Yes. So they
and
see.
they find the wreckage and they find the picture of Jenny that was
Yes.
in Cliff's crashed plane.
Yes.
So they
So they kind
can't.
of got a lead there. Meanwhile, Jenny also gets a job on a Neville Sinclair movie,
Yeah,
but
as
she's
an
only got
extra.
one line. But we see her practicing the line or explaining to Cliff what the line is. But
Mm.
then we see a scene with Neville Sinclair sword fight, the
Yeah,
filming of
it's a
things.
long, protracted sword fight, and then it
And it's
gets to
the
the character's
girl,
voice, and
yeah,
it's not her,
it's
and she
another
delivers it
girl.
awfully. So,
Awfully, and then and there's some jokes about when you're a
yeah,
producer's daughter or whatever it is,
yeah,
um, and Neville Sinclair's not impressed. And in fact, Jenny's friend says you delivered it so much better, and Jenny's like, we all delivered it so much better. When
yeah,
we went for it, but she's a bit peeved because she didn't get the part. Cliff, I might be getting the order wrong
yeah.
here, but Cliff does
Cliff,
turn up at the studio looking
yeah,
for her, but accidentally collapses part of the set over Neville Sinclair,
yeah,
which is
who
like,
immediately has him kicked out, has her and him kicked out, but at the same time, the gangsters ring him up, call him, and like, hey, so there's this girl we got her name, and she's Jenny. She
Jenny Blake or
has some
whatever
sort
it
of
is.
connection. And so he basically runs back to the director. It's like, do not fire her. Do not fire her. I've
And he
already
goes
fired
and
her.
finds her and says,
Oh, and he
look,
goes, finds her and tries to
and
like.
starts to finesse her, starts to woo her because he wants the rocket pack, right?
Yeah.
In essence. So now I misremembered this. I remembered it. He just fancied her, and was trying his luck. But that wasn't how the film had it at all, was it? I just misremembered.
Well, at this point, I think later on he did kind of get
kind of,
want to
but
get his leg up.
that's not his first motivation, though. I remember
his
it being
his whole
that's
plot
why.
is to get the jetpack.
Yeah. So there's that going on. So essentially, there's Cliff and Peavy and those guys. There's Sinclair and Lothar. There's the gangsters who are kind of working for Sinclair, but also after it. And there's also the FBI who are a bit clueless.
Yeah.
There's also Howard Hughes, as I say, played by Terry O'Quinn, who's kind of congratulations, Bayer. The FBI's finest have saved a vacuum cleaner. He's a bit quite good role.
He's
I don't
kind
think
of
he was well known at this point. He was good though. He was good.
Yeah, he's not really heading up the FBI, but he's basically the head of the FBI in this film. Like I know
He's
that's
telling
not
them
his
what to
role,
do.
but
He's
he's
telling
the
them what to
one kind of bossing them about.
Yeah, so
and shitting on them when they do stuff stupidly.
And this guy, but Howard Hughes in this film, he's kind of like the Howard Hughes from the 30s. He was a massive engineer. He also made films. He was one of those guys. He was into everything and really well known. It's just in later life, it all went a bit wrong because he kind of got very OCD and germophobic and that kind of. And he was super rich, so he could pay for, people
anything
to
really
keep him alone and isolated and stuff like that. It's all a bit sad.
Yeah.
But he was a great man. So
here's where it gets a bit convoluted because there's the plots all intermingle so quickly.
Yeah, that's why it's a bit hard to remember the ordering, right? That's why.
Yeah, so in this middle block, Sinclair has Jenny on a date with him. The house that Cliff and Peavy share gets attacked by Lothar and then the FBI.
Yeah.
And they then run to the bar, which they get held up with the gangsters.
The gangsters, who are pretty horrible. But they have they're saying, we're looking for this Cliff Seaford. And he's there with them. And they say, nah, he moved away. A little short guy and all that kind of stuff. And then the guy goes to Cliff and says, do you know a Cliff Seaford? Seeker? Nah. But then I think
they basically
get away. They basically see pictures on the wall, and it's like, there's
of
is
him
this
and
your
Jenny.
girl? And
and then they go, oh yeah, that's the girl that the boss is trying to make with.
There's the guy. There's our guy. All this kind of nonsense.
So he then goes to the date and kind of interferes. He doesn't do it very well.
He flies. He rocketeers to get there fast. He rocketeers to the. Oh yeah, there's one bit. It's kind of fun where there's reporters asking the promoter about this rocket man. I'm going back a bit.
Like, who's the rocket
What's
boy?
He called?
The
rocket man. And he looks out the window and there's like a big sign saying Pioneer something. And he goes, Rocketeer. So that's how he gets the name, right? So in the newspapers, he's Rocketeer. Sorry. Let's go back to
So he goes, he interrupts the date, but the gangsters also show up after a little bit, and there's a bit of a chase. It doesn't really. Not much happens in the chase. It's just kind of Cliff ducks through a room. You see him go into the next room. Then you see the mobsters run into the same room and then go on to the next room.
Is this where they finally take a shot at him because he does put the rocket
flies.
pack on.
He puts the rocket pack on and flies across a room, and they shoot at him, and it blows a hole in the actual pack itself.
Fuel.
Not like a catastrophic blowing hole. It's
hole.
just like a bullet dent that's got a gap in it.
Yeah, it causes a hole, which means fuel's leaking. Peavy sees this. Now, there's a nice callback to a line right at the beginning, because when they're very first scene when they're getting the plane out the hangar, and he says, Peavy says something like, "Do you think these things you just get to fly using chewing gum?" Right, or something like that, which is then referenced here because later on when he realizes there's a hole and Cliff's got to use it there and then because something bad's happening, he says, "Well, let's hope it holds," and he takes some chewing gum out of his mouth and just sticks it over the hole.
Yeah, well, before he puts it in the middle of the pack, and then as he's looking at it,
yes, that's
they're
right.
like, "Well, what can we do to fix it right now?" And he looks at it. It's like this will take weeks. And he looks at the gum and just grabs it and jams it in the hole. It's like hopefully that holds, and carries on.
Yeah.
So Cliff left Jenny behind when he fled the bar.
Yeah, and
restaurant.
then Sinclair
basically holds
Jenny.
Yeah, he holds her hostage.
So he's carrying chloroform around. Really
it's someone in the film industry in the 30s. They're not going to be the most upstanding citizens, especially because, as we mentioned, we bump into W.C. Fields, and he basically spends his entire scene staring at Jennifer Connelly's tits.
Yes, he does. And there's
he's like, "Good to meet you and the pair of you."
So she wakes up in like this lush bedroom. She's still wearing her dress, this like evening gown, this like silky evening gown. And Sinclair's there, and he starts sort of saying, "I'm really sorry about this," and all, tries to finesse her, offers her a drink, and she looks really But he does start winning her around, right? Then, or so it appears. But then she knocks him out, don't she? What's she hitting with, a bottle? I can't remember that.
I think so.
Or an award.
She goes to undress and basically just whips something around and knocks him out.
Because she says to him, "Could you help me?" While she's undressing. He's like, but then she finds this little room, radio room with a book of like a radio transmitter with someone talking German and a book with a swastika on it, right? So
it's
Nazi
so
spy.
he's a Nazi,
Nazi spy.
Now, did you recognize this house?
No.
Okay. So this is the house that also doubles as I can't remember his name.
It's not Highlander, is it?
No, it's Blade Runner.
Really?
Yeah. So it's Blade Runner.
Tyrell's house.
Yeah. So it's in Blade Runner. It's also in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which I've just finished watching. It's also, get this, in Karate Kid 3. It's Terry Silver's house.
Oh my god, this house is epic.
Yeah.
So how about that? Yeah. So she realizes he's a Nazi. But then they catch. I nearly said Rondo. Losar I can't remember. She gets caught again. So basically, they got her as hostage again.
Yeah. So
she escapes long enough to work out he's a Nazi spy, basically.
Yeah. And they also did say earlier on that there was like basically a German Zeppelin doing a show lap of the US.
Oh yeah,
very early on. Yeah, they just like set that up.
Cliff and Jenny go to the cinema to see a Neville Sinclair movie where he's a pilot.
Yeah.
And it's
this will be fun because it's both
of them.
Yeah.
There's
so then after that, they somehow get the word to Cliff that it's like, you got to go to Griffith Observatory.
4 a.m. They pick a rare 4 a.m. But then Cliff, the FBI finally catch Cliff. Who go to Howard Hughes and basically
it's kind of funny because the FBI have caught PB at this point, but he's kind of just lecturing Howard Hughes on how he got the jetpack to work.
That I found I know it's ridiculous plot shorthand, but I find that quite convincing because I believe an engineer of the caliber of Howard Hughes would actually immediately take to someone who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah.
When it comes to engineering, right? And because he's like, the helmet as a rudder was, a stroke of
genius.
All this kind of stuff. And basically he says, "Kid, this is bigger than you." And they show a newsreel or a film from
a
Nazi
stolen
Germany
propaganda film.
where they're basically the Nazis have got stormtroopers got jetpacks, and they're flying to America and stuff like that, right? So it's like the American invasion. So that's why it's bigger. And he talks about we were developing this, but the Nazis have been developing it, but theirs haven't been successful and stuff like that.
Ours just happens to have been.
Yeah,
in this instance.
let's be clear. This is pre-war, so they're not at war. They're not. No one's at war with the Nazis here at the minute. But it's
But if the Nazis get jetpack soldiers, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, that is bad news. So and Hugh says we know that someone in Hollywood is a Nazi spy. We don't know who they are. And Cliff's like, it's Neville Sinclair. And they said, no, we can't.
No, he's as American as apple pie.
Yeah,
and then they spend a little bit of time going over that. But then Cliff eventually has to go to the exchange. After a bit of I have to.
He says, I've got to go. And they said, sorry, kid, we can't. But he escapes with it. In a really cool way. Basically, there's a massive prototype model glider in the middle of this hangar on runners, and he just jumps on it and slides all the way down the hangar. And when it detaches, it carries on flying. And Howard Hughes actually says, "Oh, it does fly!" Like they never tried it. So it's like some sort of prototype, right? And I think that's based on a real Howard Hughes thing. I'm going to guess.
Yeah, according to Wikipedia, that's the Spruce Goose.
Oh, there we go. I don't know what that is, but there we go. But I think he leaves a little note saying where the rendezvous is, so the FBI clued in, right?
Yeah.
So we go there, and basically Sinclair's like, "Yep, give me the rocket pack." And Cliff actually says to the mobster, "Are you happy working for a Nazi?"
The mobster does. This is always stupid when it happens. It's like, I may be a villain, but I'm an American villain.
Yeah, he goes, I don't work for no 2-bit Nazis. And old Sinclair's just laughing. Hey, who cares who pays you? You know, all this kind of stuff. But the gangsters turn. They've also
at this point the FBI also shows up.
They then turn their guns, and they've got a gun on Lothar too, and they actually say, "Keep still, Frankenstein. You're not bulletproof." Is what they were saying.
Yeah. Which was a bit weird of a thing to say.
Yeah.
Like it's like, did you think he was? But
it's because he's big.
This is when the Zeppelin arrives,
full of armed stormtroopers. So we got the German airstrip, and it's funny. This film made me think of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade a bit because of airships and Nazis.
Yeah, it made me think of Sky Captain.
Yeah, that is a good shout.
Yeah, that's sometimes
in more than a few ways, it's like Sky Captain, isn't it?
So Sinclair escapes onto the airship. He takes Lothar and he takes Jenny as well.
We see some evil stuff. Like, for example, at one point, Cliff actually rocketeers onto the back of the Zeppelin, accidentally kind of tears part of the tail rudder off, just as he lands on it. Not intentionally, I don't think. So it can't steer properly. And they're starting to lose height. And the captain goes, "We need to lose weight." And this bloke questions Neville Sinclair. Neville Sinclair just shoots him out of the plane. He goes, "We've lost the weight now." And the captain looks, or whoever's steer, looks horrified. And he goes, "For the fatherland." So, okay. So there's a kind of a shootout between the gangsters, the Nazis, and the FBI going on. And Ed Lauter's character actually does say, "Be careful shooting towards that Zeppelin. It's full of hydrogen. It could kill us all. It could blow us all up, right?"
And Cliff fights his way to the bridge.
He fights Lothar, who accidentally then gets knocked. He kicks him in the bollocks, and there's no effect at all, which made me think of James Bond and Jaws. Then he gets knocked off, but he's strapped. He's got like a weight.
He's caught hold of the a rope on the Zeppelin.
So he's around his waist, right? So
but he's like he's out of the fight for this point.
For this point, he's unconscious pretty much. He just swings against the window.
Yeah, he goes through the ship punching Nazis, and eventually gets to the bridge where he does make the exchange and give Sinclair the rocket pack in exchange.
Yeah. And they're in the airport, and but as he puts it on, Cliff reaches out and pulls the gum off. So there's a hole.
So fuel just leaking out.
And Jenny says to Sinclair, "So all those things you said were lies?" And Sinclair goes, "Great line." He goes, "Those wasn't lies. That was acting." Is what he says.
Oh, there is a good bit earlier when they're in Sinclair's house.
Oh yeah, go on.
And he's trying to seduce her, and she keeps naming the films that he's using lines from.
Oh yeah, he's using all these lines.
No, that's from this. He's like, no, I just thought of that. Like you said that to this person. It's like, I don't remember that.
Yeah. It's like you don't remember it.
Yeah.
So, we should say early on we do see the sign Hollywoodland in the hills, right? Hollywoodland, which was a thing. It was.
Yeah, that was the original name.
Well, no, it was the name of a real estate trying to sell houses in the hills, right? Called Hollywoodland, right? But then the company went bust, and no one was responsible for this sign, and so they had to decide what to. Anyway, we get onto that. We basically see Hollywoodland, right? So Jenny's trying to stop the fight, but she accidentally fires a flare gun into the. So she starts a fire on a big hydrogen balloon, basically.
Yeah. So Sinclair takes off at this point.
Yes.
Literally. So he launches himself out and then very rapidly catches on fire.
So he's like a screaming Timothy Dalton's.
Yeah, we get a kind of funny image of like just a fireball coming close up to the screen, and then Timothy Dalton's face fades in on
screaming.
So,
and doesn't he crash?
He crashes into the land part of Hollywoodland,
leaving Hollywood, which is what it is now. Which made me laugh a lot. Then the actual they're on top of the Zeppelin at this point. Lothar's there, but he's still got the thing around his waist, which straps him to the.
And they're running along.
And they're just running because it's
Zeppelin.
Exploding from one end to the other slowly. I
can't remember. Lothar gets like his rope pulls tight, and he's
running, but he just stops. So he just stands there with his hands up as the fireball comes towards him. They're running, but luckily
he shows up in the weirdest little thing.
That is a real thing.
I know.
Real thing. A Pitcairn auto gyro.
PCA 2.
So it's a
helicopter plane.
It's a prototype helicopter, basically.
Yeah.
But it's got wings like a plane as well.
Yeah, so they jump on the wings.
And they get there's a step ladder. They drop a ladder and
they get out. Later on
goes up in flames, right?
Yeah, the whole thing goes up in flames. It just explodes in the air.
Right, so that's kind of it. I mean, there's a final scene.
Yeah, there's a little epilogue where Cliff gets given a brand new plane by
Howard Hughes flies in.
It's kind of funny. He flies it in and gets out. It's like, it's a pretty good plane. Look after it and just walks away and gets in a car and drives off.
Yeah, and some of his guys also pull back like some tape on the side of the plane, that's and it says pilot Cliff Secord, so it's his plane. Howard Hughes also gives him some gum. He gives him a pack of gum, which made me laugh.
Yeah. And PV gets some blueprints on the rocket. So
which could be, and he thinks.
I think that was sequel bait.
I could do something with this. It's all that, right? It's all that.
Yeah.
Setting it for potential sequel, I think. That's the idea.
Yeah.
So, good fun film. The plot whizzes by, which is why we've find it hard to be linear because it's like things.
It's very quick pace.
Coincidences.
Which
keeps the energy up. It's a good fun film that way. This feels to me like a nearly perfect Sunday afternoon kind of movie, right?
Yeah.
All the family can watch and enjoy. And I enjoyed it quite a bit. And you did too, right?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So that. Any final thoughts, or should we just go
No,
to rating?
particularly let's go straight to
It looked
rating.
good. The Art
Yeah.
Deco looked good, and the vibe of it was fun. Um, yeah. I wonder how it would have felt with um, a leading man you knew. Do you know what I mean? I don't
Mm.
know really. Jennifer Connelly was great, actually.
Yeah.
Really stand up. Her acting definitely improved between Labyrinth and this. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, right. Okay. What would you score this?
I'd score this an 8.
I'll
So,
give it a 7. I feel
mm.
like it's a pretty solid 7 to me.
Yeah.
Sounds like you liked it a little bit.
Yeah.
But enjoyable for film all around. Glad I picked it, actually.
Yeah.
Glad I picked it. It's quite a good one for our Daisy
Yeah.
Daisy.
I will say I had to rewind a couple of times because I'd literally looked away and missed significant plot
Yeah, there was
points.
lots of things
So,
happening really fast. There's like, look at
yeah.
that. And, a lot of it was visual, which is good, right? Which is good for a movie. But it means if you're not watching the screen, paying real attention, you can miss stuff. And then be like, how did that happen? I think that happened to me once. There was one bit I did have to rewind back. I was watching it, I just didn't quite understand something. But yeah, I can't remember which bit. Great music as well. James Horner, right? James Horner
Mm.
did the music with this. I thought it was very, very fun. Very fun.
Yeah.
Shame it didn't do too well, but
Yeah.
T2, I suppose.
Yeah. Releasing
Um,
opposite that's probably
um,
the biggest death knell to this. It did
yeah.
have sort of a sequel series on like Disney Junior or something like that.
And yeah,
But
I was
it's
surprised when I talked to
yeah,
Rocketeer and Disney Plus. Rocketeer from 2019, and apparently it's his granddaughter, his sequel's
yeah,
granddaughter is the Rocketeer in that one, and it's a CGI one, isn't it? It's a
yeah.
CGI.
It's a little kid show.
Okay,
Yeah, perfectly nice, but yeah, not really.
I do like these pulp,
Yeah.
but things based on pulp 30s stuff. I do like the Doc Savage film from the 70s, say things like
Mm,
that, right? And Flash Gordon, of course. Right?
yeah.
I find them quite charming.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This is one of the films that where there's persistent rumors of a sequel at all times, and people are constantly getting signed on and getting and leaving the project. I think at the moment it's got what's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name, but he's the guy that did yeah, I can't remember his name. He was in Selma. Was like he was set to direct, I think it was.
Don't know, mate. No
Yeah,
idea.
it's yeah. I'm
No,
losing track
not a
here, but
clue.
basically, yeah. There's continuous rumors that there's going to be a sequel.
I was
Uh,
looking at the rumors, and it says 2012. There was a rumor that the director of Saw, James Wan, wanted to do it.
yeah,
And God knows what that'd be like. But he makes good films. He
yeah.
does make good films. So yeah, okay, all right. Let's wind it up there. I think so. Next, Daisy Days will be your choice. So you're gonna have to
Mm,
pick anyone but Jennifer Connelly from this movie. You got a
yeah,
few outstanding ones, I guess, but there's all sorts of Clint Howard
yeah,
would be weird because we
yeah.
didn't. I didn't even. Uh, I think I remember thinking that bloke looks a bit like Clint Howard, but not registering. It was something like that. But
Yeah.
it's a bit like the singer. It's like that looks like Jen from The Office.
Mm,
Jan from The Office.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's wind it up now. So bye from me.
Bye.